Let's talk about how a pretty penny can, if I can turn it over, quickly supersize and help you grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and I have a very pretty penny today. And our idiom today is pretty penny. Now, this is one of those idioms that you have to dig a little bit on the internet to find the origin of it, because the first origin that I pulled up was actually over 100 years, almost 200 years after it had originally been used in writing. Suzanne Centerlever, one of the most famous comic writers of her time, wrote a piece called The Man Bewitched, and she used it in that in 1780. Prior to that, somebody by the name of she used it in 1710. Frederick Pelon used it in 1780. And then Mary Ann Evans, who wrote under the pen name George Eliot, used it in The Mill on the Floss, which I guess is a famous book back in the time of the 1800s, but it wasn't until 1860 that she wrote that. So it was a good 150 years later that in the internet, certain sources, a lot of sources actually give her credit for it, and it isn't her that used it first. So pretty penny, or different ways of saying pretty penny, has been around for hundreds of years, at least a couple hundred years, right? So that means it probably impacts us. Well, what does it mean? It means to be expensive, right? To cost a lot, to be worth more, or cost more anyway. Just because something's cost more doesn't mean it's worth more. We learned that via experience, right? Sometimes we get what we paid for, but we don't always get what we paid for. So what does this mean, pretty penny, and how can we use this and apply it to building and growing and supersizing our business? Well, I've been involved in lots of different businesses, lots of different industries, and found that the businesses that offer a different price or different value to different levels of customer involvement tend to grow and supersize much faster than those that just have one product or service at a lower cost, or a smaller cost. Now, unless you sell millions and millions and millions of units. Now, I've got a lot of manufacturing in my background. I love manufacturing. And so manufacturing is all about efficiently and effectively producing a consistent product and making a lot of it and selling a lot of it. So we deal in a lot of, often, one or two items, or maybe more that a company manufactures, but a lot of times a manufacturing company will specialize and only manufacture a small number of and variety of things, but they'll make lots and lots and lots of it. So that's one way to grow and build a business, but it's also really, really hard. There's high costs associated with that. Inventory, machinery, distribution, all very high costs in those platforms. Now, since I've gotten involved in the online world, there's the opposite effect that I see, where people have a high ticket item and they might have a middle and a lower cost product or service that they bring people into their organization, called like a value ladder or a product mix, whatever you want to call it. It used to be called product mix, then Russell Brunson came along, and I don't know who invented value ladder, but I learned that term from him and have used it ever since, because it's a really easy way to show people how they can add a higher ticket, higher cost, higher value item to their product mix and grow and supersize and build their business so much faster. In just about every industry I work with these days, we look at the product mix that the company offers. And even manufacturing businesses can add higher tiered, higher levels of product and service to their product mix, increasing their profitability, and bundling and packaging things together that they never even dreamed of, in terms of creating higher sales prices, higher individual sales order prices, etc., as well as overall profitability and income coming into the business, sales and income. So curious if you've heard this expression, pretty penny. I've usually used it and heard it used to describe things that are expensive, an item that's expensive. Oh, that car must have cost him or her a pretty penny, or that watch cost her a pretty penny, or that outfit, or that haircut or hairstyle, or whatever it might be. It's usually not used with respect to our businesses, but it definitely can be, right? Because we want to have high priced offerings for the people that we serve, because people, once we get raving fans and people that love our business, They want more and more and more of us. And there's a lot of different ways to serve that up to them and make that available to them without it making us crazy, right? So if I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow with another interesting financial related idiom for the month of May.